The psychotrauma unit, the point of the psychotrauma unit is to prevent the onset or to mitigate the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder.
I've seen things that I can never unsee. I've treated injuries that I wish I never have to see again.
We do that by trying to intervene as early as possible after some kind of traumatic event happens. We get a lot of people who go into this kind of loop of no, this can't be, no, it can't be, tell me it's not true, tell me it's not true, it's not happening, it's not really, come back, stay with us. We have what we call the internal psychotrauma unit. Sometimes when we reach out to the EMTs after a regular call, like a CPR on a baby, okay, we get I have often heard, nah, I've seen things in my life, everything's fine, I've been there before, done that before, I'm fine. Nobody said that after October 7th. I did not hear one EMT say, seen this before. Nobody had seen this before. The sheer volume, I think, of wounded, the sheer volume of deaths, the chaos that they witnessed was something that they had never seen before. And that even when they couldn't talk, the fact that they weren't able to say that screamed at me. By the next morning, I had a list of nearly 600 EMTs who had been in the kibbutzim in the south, removing the wounded. From there, I spent basically the entire Sunday, eventually I got some help as well, just matching each one of them up with one of our 138 volunteers. Our professionals were taking 3 phone calls, 4 phone calls, and we tried to make sure that every single EMT had an address that they knew they could turn to for help. October 7th didn't really end on October 7th. It went into the next day. It went into part of the next week. A lot of these EMTs weren't available emotionally to begin processing even until a good few days, some of them even weeks later.
Many first responders are starting to talk publicly about their stories, about the atrocities they witnessed with their own eyes.
So many bodies, so many dead people, so many people that had lost their legs, their hands.
And I'm not even talking about the smells, I'm not even talking about the shootings, the silence, it was silent. Hundreds of soldiers, but silent. The only thing that you hear is shooting and shooting, and at one point they tell you, lie on the ground, leave the patient, just lay on the ground.
התחושה הזאת שהיא מתארת שם, של אם הייתי יכול להגיע קודם, זה מה שמלווה אותי לאורך, מאז אותו יום. זה מה שאני מרגיש שאני חסר לי.
The reaction that you have to a traumatic event within the first 3 to 4 days is fine. In other words, you're not expected to function perfectly after you've been in some kind of traumatic event. We call it a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. Once you get past the 4-day mark or thereabouts, then you're going into an acute stress disorder. Lack of functioning, so sleep could be affected, eating could be affected, inability to concentrate. It can include flashbacks of what you had seen, heard, smelled.
You can't sleep. You close your eyes and you have too many sights. It's not even sights. Too many people, too many dead, too many injuries, and it's terrifying to close your eyes. Terrifying.
יש לנו מענה מאוד טוב של חוסן בתוך הארגון.
אוקיי.
יהיו לי איתם כמה שיחות.
איך אתה ישן?
יש לילות ויש לילות.
אתה חולם על זה לפעמים?
כן. היו לי כמה חלומות שהתערבבו לי כבר במציאות, של מסיפורים, ממקרים שפשוט נכנסו לי, כאילו אני הייתי שם, כאילו אני חוויתי אותם.
And that goes till about a month. If it continues after a month, then it's considered PTSD. Again, the goal of the psychotrauma unit is to get in there during the ASR, the acute stress reaction, and mitigate or prevent all the rest of it from happening. Sometimes people get there on their own, and they're fine, but the percentages of people who can't do that are high enough that the intervention is really, really worthwhile to make sure that they get there.
זה לא היה קל לראות את כל מה שראיתי, את כל מה שאני אישית עברתי, ואם לא יחידת החוסן שתטפל בי, לא הייתי נמצאת כאן כרגע.
I could see that there's some scarring that's going to take a while to undo and to repair. And I'm hoping that many of them will come for the help that they need. So thank you very much for the support that you give to allow us to be able to continue helping our EMTs so that they can continue helping saving lives.